Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about Robert Saleh, him leaving, his potential staff, and a whole bunch of other stuff, really. It's more of kind of just a reflection on some thoughts from today. Might be a little all over the place, but whatever. I'm Matt O'Leary, if you didn't know, and you can subscribe to the channel right here. Follow along with me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY, and subscribe to the podcast. New episodes drop every Monday, and you can call in and leave me your questions. Okay, so Robert Saleh left after seemingly like a 24-hour, just about. It felt like forever he was with the New York Jets in an interview process, but he leaves without a contract, and Twitter erupted. You would have thought like the worst imaginable thing happened, and this is kind of where I think the direction of the video is going to go, is the overreaction and the nitpicking on Twitter. So Saleh leaves. It seemed like he was a front runner for this job, and it seemed like the Jets really liked him. And a lot of people thought, okay, this guy's going to get hired like today, meaning Wednesday. And I thought the same thing. But then he leaves. The Jets tweet out that they've completed the interview, and they're going to talk to some other coaches. Does that mean Robert Saleh is not going to be the head coach of the New York Jets? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means that Joe Douglas wants to talk to other people. This was the first interview of the second round of interviews. So I saw online a lot, and this is what a lot of people said, was if you like the guy, don't let him leave the building. He can't leave the building without a contract. And they pounded on the tables like this. They pounded on the tables. But wouldn't you want to talk to other coaches if you wanted to narrow your like usually an interview process goes like this. I don't know how many people have applied for jobs and stuff like that. So usually there are a couple rounds of interviews, and they narrow it down each way. So if you had one grouping, the first round of interviews with 9, and then maybe Christopher Johnson and Joe Douglas talked, and they're like, hey, like these 4 we're down to 4, and Robert Saleh is the first one we're going to have in. Should they not talk to those other 3 coaches and see what they want to decipher in terms of narrowing this list down? Like, I really don't have an issue with them talking to more coaches, and I feel like I'm in the minority here. It was like taking crazy pills today with the reaction on Twitter that he left the building if the Jets are going to mess this up again. Well, hold on. If the Jets go out next week and hire Brian Daboll instead, and it's all because they let Robert Saleh walk, most of Jets Twitter's gonna be like, okay, I'm fine with that, because he's very high on a lot of people's list. But it's just, I think we need to tone it down with the overreaction to him leaving. And there's still a chance that he can be the Jets head coach. I don't think the door is shut on Robert Saleh. So just relax, everyone. The second thing that I wanted to talk about today was something that I saw online talking about, well, one of the things, if you hire a defensive coach like Robert Saleh and he brings a really good offensive coordinator with him and they have success, well, then he's going to get poached. Are you kidding me? I would love to live in a world where the Jets offense is so good that a coordinator is getting poached. Like, do you know how much of a first world problem that is to have your offensive coordinator to get poached? That means 1, the Jets are good. 2, it means the offense is good. And 3, it means your coach knows how to build a staff. That's a good thing if that's happening. Like, again, am I taking crazy pills? Am I the weird one here? I don't understand why that's an issue, or why someone would be like, yeah, I don't want Robert Saleh to be the head coach because he's going to bring Mike McDaniel or Mike LaFleur with him, and he's going to get pulled in 2 years after he either A, resurrected Sam Darnold's career, or B, developed our rookie quarterback into one of the elite quarterbacks in football. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, can we think about the things we're saying for a second? Can we have a little bit of an idea of what the context to the things that we're saying with both things, with this specific instance, one that I'm talking about with an offensive coordinator getting poached, and the other one with a coach leaving? It's all the same thing. Like, can we think of the context a little bit more of these things happening before we write it off as this awful thing? It's unbelievable. Like, I would sign up in a second. I have numbers here. You have to have a good offense to be a sustained playoff team in this league. And the Jets offense, well, look at their offense over the last 10 years. It's been terrible. And they haven't made the playoffs over the last 10 years. Here's how they ranked in points in the last 10 years. 32nd, 31st, 23rd, 24th, 30th, 11th, 2015, 28th, 29th, 28th, 13th. That's an average of 25th in the league. If you take all those years combined and average it, they are averaging a 25th overall defense over that span. offense over in that span, excuse me. And in terms of yards, 32nd, 32nd, 29th, 28th, 26th, 10th, 22nd, 25th, 20th, 25th for an average of 25th. Essentially, they have the 25th best offense in football, one of the worst in the league over the last decade. Now, on the flip side, you look at the teams who have had success and sometimes have had their coaches get poached, and you look at the Patriots. Okay, they're a team, yeah, a lot of people like to go the Bill Belichick coaching tree, and I get that. They've made the playoffs 9 times out of the last 10 years, and their average points over that span was 6th, and yards was 8th. So they are a top 10 offense over that span. The Seahawks made the playoffs 8 times, and they've averaged in points 11th and average in yards 15th. Another top half of the league in offense. Steelers, 6 times in the playoffs, average points 13th in the league, average yards 13th in the league. Top half offense, playoffs more than half the time. Saints, playoffs 6 times in the last decade. Average points 5th in the league, average yards 4th in the league. Chiefs, playoffs 7 times in the last decade. Average points 13th, average yards 16th, and that's because in the early part of the last decade, they were awful. They were like 32nd back-to-back years. I think when they made the transition from Haley to, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? He was the interim head coach for the Texans this year, Romeo Crennel. There we go. Just thinking on the fly. That's what we're doing. We're not doing a ton of editing in this one. Just want to get some thoughts out there. Like, if the Jets are averaging for the next, I don't know, let's even say 3 years, right? Let's say for example, let's say they hire Robert Saleh, who's a defensive mind. He brings LaFleur or McDaniel with him. And for the next 2 or 3 years, the Jets have a top 10 offense. Great problem to have. That is a great problem to have. I would really like it if their Jets OC gets poached because their offense is that good and Sam Darnold's career is either resurrected or their rookie quarterback is like one of the best quarterbacks in football. That's the only way that he's getting poached. So that would be a really good thing. Just wanted to get that out there. A little frustrated on Twitter today with a lot of the reactions and takes. So just wanted to get my take out there. That's going to do it for me. Let me know what you think of all this, everything that happened today in the comments down below. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.